Start live streaming on YouTube, on YouTube. All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Harder, and I want to welcome each one of you participants, and thank you for showing up and being here in on YouTube with my live stream, because our topic for today is basically twofold, and of course at the end I want to have it open for some questions and answers. So you can type some questions in the chat, and I'll answer them, as long as the questions, are something that I have answers for. All right, so let's begin. Now, the first thing, the first thing that I would like to talk about is, why do we need cryptocurrencies, in today's economy, or and just simply for all of us, like for today, why do we need it? And well, that answer, it's, to me, I would say that it's something that everybody should know already. Like this shouldn't even be a question anymore. But to many people, or I think we could safely say to most people, this is still a question. Why would we need cryptocurrencies? Well, let's get right into that. Why do we? Well, our monetary system is a debt-based system that has been undermining our freedom. And basically, the way it is set up is that the manipulators who are controlling it, they have been using our sweat, our intelligence, our labor to have us build our own global prison. Our own global prison. That's what we've been doing. And we've been doing it pretty much blindfolded. And yet at the same time, everything they are doing is hidden in plain sight. Now, I know that unless a person wakes up from the drowse and the sleep that the education system has put us into, and we would never realize, certainly not realize it until it's too late to do anything about it. Which it almost makes you wonder if it isn't almost too late already. But I don't believe it is, not at this point. We still can, if we use the tools that have been provided for us. You might ask right now, well, provided by whom? Well, certainly not the elite, who are trying to gain complete control of every human being. It's certainly not by them that any tools have been made for us to be able to free ourselves. But and you see, that is the reason why we need cryptocurrencies. We need something that is not controlled by the central banks. The central banking cartel, they are those are the manipulators that are behind all of the frustrations that we've been facing in the economy, the boom bust cycles, and all of the consolidation that has been going on over the years. Banking consolidate, dealerships consolidate. Um, all small businesses are disappearing out of, for instance, take like 40 years ago, or we could probably use even 30 years ago, but for the sake of argument, for those of you who may have been young, in your, say, teens 40 years ago, man, that's a long time ago, isn't it? Out in the country, there would be all of these, smaller type of gas stations, convenience stores, just, in towns had smaller grocery stores and things like that. But that has all gone, has all disappeared. And well, what has happened to it? Well, it has been consolidated to, there are stores like what are they? Walmart and Costco and those type of businesses have come on board, and they have come out with massive chains, which which kills the local economies. And the money that we locally make as people in our in local businesses and so on, that as we take that money to these large chains like Costco, Walmart, those type of stores, and we spend our money there, well, from there it's channeled to the elite. Of course, I mean, they will be getting their cuts out of it, but it basically goes to the elite from there. And those are the people that are controlling and manipulating the entire system. Now, I've said this before, but let's just look at that structure for a wee bit again, and just so we understand it a little bit better. Now, to begin explaining that, I'm going to say that in schools, students are being taught that any pyramid is a scheme, is a Ponzi scheme, and it is a bad thing. And there is a sense in which I disagree with that. Of course, that depends on what the case would be. But let's just look at that for a little bit. See, this is what the students are being taught in schools, that that any pyramid is a Ponzi scheme. Well, let's look at the people who are controlling the education system in the schools. What kind of a system do they use? Pyramid. The exact thing that they're telling the young people is a Ponzi scheme, and that they should never ever participate in or anything like that, and in fact that it's illegal and all that. That's the exact scheme that they are using to manipulate and control every aspect of our lives. And the way they do it, let's use this as and look at this pyramid. On the US $1 bill, you will see a pyramid with an eye on it. Well, that's exactly their thing. They have created that symbol because because their plan is to eventually have complete control and be able to see you and hear you wherever you are and control you completely. And if they decide that you don't deserve to live, guess what? You'll be killed on the spot. It's that simple. Just like they already have been in with all these wars going on. Now, this pyramid structure, again, if we look at it, and let's imagine it to be a, a round or a square, doesn't matter one way or the other. Let's say it was square, a square pyramid, and we've got the top. At the top little triangle would be the central banks. That's the central banks. Underneath them in the pyramid layer is the major companies. The major companies like General Electric and there's a few others, but not many. Only just a few. Why? Because that is how control works. Major banks controlling the money, that which everybody needs. Underneath that, controlling the major companies. The major companies. And then underneath that are factories, industries, all those kind of things, and then government. Then government. And after government is all of us, the population. Can you identify, can you see how the power works, how that works with the pyramid scheme? So the few at the top controlling the next layer, controlling the next layer, controlling the next layer, and controlling us. So when you say that you are voting in, say, a president, a prime minister, or anything, you are, okay, so, if you think that you are voting in some person, somebody into the government that is going to fix things, let me just tell you right here and right now, they're not fixing anything. They have absolutely no control to fix anything because it's way beyond their control. So then you might be asking the question, well, who then can control? Who is able then to control anything? We are. We are. We are not necessarily just going to be able to jump out and go and start taking control. If we did that, we'd be in jail in no time and probably end up in prison from there. But what are we saying? When you look at the pyramid structure, and yes, the top few might be very powerful with all their, with all their manipulation and controlling all the big sectors. But then at the bottom, see how much wider the pyramid is at the bottom? That's us. That's us. And instead of it just being a lineal line, think of it as a square or a round. You see how much bigger the bottom is than the top. In fact, the pyramid isn't really just that it's a peak. It is very much goes, if you can see it in the video, goes like this. So at the bottom, it is much, much wider. Okay, let's look at it for a wee bit. We are like what? About 7 billion people. And out of them, of course, some are in government, some are in different places, and so on. But make no mistake about it, the people in government are just as much in prison as you and I are. Yes, maybe their pockets are being lined a little bit, so in order to incentivize them to control us more, but in the end, they are totally being controlled as well. And so are the companies above them. So are the ones above them. And where finally is it? It's a matter of just a few hundred people that actually do have the control. And now I know that we had this so-called monetary reset, but after hundreds of years of gradually ensnaring us, taking away our freedom, siphoning away our wealth and our very sweat and our very way of life. Do you think that we should just now sit and say, okay, well, it's all taken care of. Now it's all good? My guess is not so. It's kind of like, I've referred to this before, and it's the scenario just seems to fit. At least for me, it works. It seems to be a picture that works really well. There's a cat, and it's playing with a mouse. And what do you think is gonna happen to that mouse if it does not somehow get away from that cat? Well, it'll simply become lunch. That's really it. And that's exactly where we're at. Okay, so Peter says, no, no. Yes, I can hear you, but no, no. Okay, Pedro, what's the no, no? Yeah, I was trying to have it so that we could that I could share the screen with others, and I wasn't able to figure out for this one yet, but I will. I will figure that out. I'm expecting that that by tomorrow I will have that figured out, and I will be able to see you guys on the screen here, which today I can't, and I'll be able to. Now, if you do type questions, I can just answer them in the video here. That I can do, but I can't. But I can't see you guys, and I can't. You know, like I said, if you have questions, do type them, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Okay. Just like the image, the pyramid. No, the permanent on the US paper, the permanent on the US paper dollar bill. Okay. Okay, you mean the pyramid on the US paper dollar bill? Okay. Don't worry about it, John. Okay. All right, I won't worry about it. Pardon? Oh, oh yeah, I need to let you know. Um, um, Tomorrow afternoon, we are actually going to be going to a family gathering tomorrow. So tomorrow afternoon, I will not be on here. I apologize for that, but and I'll try to be on here every day at 2 o'clock. But tomorrow is going to be an exception. I apologize for that. Anyhow, where were we here? Yes, why do we need cryptocurrencies? So we were talking about how we're being manipulated. Now, you know, here's what's happening. Like in town here in Dalhousie, where we live, there are several what used to be businesses on Main Street here in town that have been closed down. There's two factories that used to operate here in town. They're both closed down. And I know several other towns where the same thing has happened. And what is going on is that all of this is part of that manipulation. Is all small places shut down so that people have to go to the bigger places, to Costco, Walmart, places like that, and take the money there, from where it's much easier to just channel through a couple of different channels to the elite than it is to manage and dominate all of the little stores way out in the country everywhere. And people, it is time, it is high time that we take our freedom back. It is high time that we begin to improvise, and we begin to build local businesses, bartering between ourselves, between each other, and begin building a local economy. This needs to happen. There are already people doing this in different places in the world, and we need to join the team before we end up in a prison where we can't do that anymore, where that is going to be too late. Whereas as at this point it is still possible. And I say that we ought to jump to it and get moving on it and get it done, because wouldn't it be a wonderful thing that if we could, someday when our grandkids are at home and enjoying the pool and riding horses and whatever, just a beautiful, nice, big place. We have nice vehicles. Oh man, who knows what lifestyle we'd have? Uh, Maybe our own personal helicopter or whatever, and 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 we could tell the grandchildren how how there was a point where we had lost our freedom, but now look at the freedom we have regained and how much nicer it is for them. Wouldn't that be a thrill to be able to do that and tell the stories? Wouldn't it be wonderful if this was all history? All of this manipulation and everything that this lack and limitation that we're feeling today, if we could, if it all became history. Well, I will certainly, for myself, yeah, I would say that would be very nice. Well, guess what? If that mouse is going to get away from the cat, it's not because the cat is just suddenly going to decide, okay, you can go. That's not gonna happen. And that's where we're at. We are that mouse, and we must get away from the cat if we're gonna live. So let's stand up to it and do it, and get away from the cat. And one of those ways is through cryptocurrency. Let's look at it for a wee bit. These people, they're using the monetary system to control the entire world. What if we would use a cryptocurrency that has the potential and also absolutely has the capacity to build completely new infrastructures and local economies from scratch, and make the monetary system that's manipulated and controlled, make it obsolete. And we would have a monetary system that is controlled by us. Imagine, just imagine the freedom that we would have if our money, if the monetary system, that which we need most to live and to trade and to, you know, that if we can control that ourselves instead of it being in the hands of manipulators. So that is why we need cryptocurrencies. Now, when we're in cryptocurrencies, then we also need to consider what all cryptocurrencies are there and what really. Okay, I see a question here or something. Yeah, Ajat, yeah, Pedro. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, helicopter, Ajat, and um, I read on the TBC blog admin is forgiving some discounters for the past. Yes. Yeah, that's true. There were some people that were undermining the uh, the system in the past, and TBC they had to take control of it. Originally, it wasn't meant that they were going to have it a centralized, controlled coin. Whereas right now it actually is, because if we have a coin that goes up in price only, like TBC does, it goes up in price only. It does not fluctuate. It's why it's not in exchanges. It's a privately owned coin. It's owned privately by us as a community. And whoever wants to be part of us and expand the community, that's how much the coin community will expand. But it's all of us who own the coin. Okay? It's not a central banking system who can manipulate it. But now, if people begin to undermine that price of the coin, the integrity of the price, then of course it affects all of us. Because let's say, let's just say, well, what if the money you're using, the $20 bill, all of a sudden you're finding out that you can only buy $2 worth of goods for a $20 bill because that's what others are letting it go for. How would you feel about that? Well, that's what that would be, right? So we need to keep the integrity, and that simply, to us as a community, just simply means that we honor the agreement of the price of the coin. We must honor that agreement, so that altogether we're holding that integrity and using that coin to its full, so that it can become its full potential. Now, as far as the billion coin having the capacity of becoming a coin that can truly be become the transformation. No, not become the transformation. That's not what I mean. But have the capacity to be used to transform local economies everywhere in the world. Let's look at the ability that the billion coin would have. Each person or each coin will be worth 1 billion euros. Now, if everybody had a billion euros, everyone that owns, I mean, if a billion people each had one coin, which would be the full capacity of that coin. That means 1/7 of the world's population would be billionaires. Talk about a rich world. But of course, it's not going to, it isn't really evening out like that, because, you know, uh, there are many people who don't really have the faith in it. There are people who can't see the potential. They just they can't see anything beyond right now, seemingly. I'm not sure how what their thinking is. I don't quite understand that, but for something like this to work, we must see the potential that's in it in the future. It's very necessary that we see that, and that having that in mind, we worked towards that, and that is exactly what I was talking about. Work towards creating a new economy, local economies everywhere that hold the value of life, the value of life, the value of freedom, the value of love, a bonding love between people, a love that keeps a community together, helping each other. A community that is willing to work and to innovate, come up with new ideas of how we can use this coin, how we can use our own monetary system, so that we can get away from the debt-based system that has been enslaving us for so long. I mean, surely we can do this. We can do this, people. We absolutely can. And so that is why we need cryptocurrencies, because of the things that we talked about. And so uh, TBC is actually much more than just a currency. There is so much information that is being given to us by the TBC admin, alerting us to where the world is going, what is going on, who's manipulating, and the entire economy and all of that, where that's all going, and what can we do about it. There's very much of that is given to us in on the blog.tbc, no, blog.debillioncoin.info, blog.debillioncoin.info. uh, Now, I just want to tell you this, uh, you know, because I want to tell you that the fact that you can actually become completely free from not only the debt-based monetary system, but you can actually regain your own freedom, uh, complete freedom from all taxation and all of that. And now I'm going to expand on this a wee bit to let you know where we actually stand, or where we actually do not stand. That's actually more the way it is. But you see, the whole system, what we call government, is smoke and mirrors. That's all that is. It's smoke and mirrors appearing as reality. And what they've done is, and this has been in the plans for thousands of years, folks. This has been in the plans for thousands of years. That is why we have the book called the Bible. That is why it was written, to gain the control of the minds of people. To gain the control of people's minds. That is the reason. the Bible was written. And this they've been doing. This they've been doing in different ways before so-called Christ. That was one of the things uh, that was in the plans, and then they came up with that whole scenario of this Redeemer, and and then the church was established. Now, mind you, the church system was established by the manipulators of the system. That's who established the church. And back in the Old Testament time, it was the entire system was set up that the king would control the land, and the priest would control the the spirit, or the law. The law was controlled by the you know by the priest, and the land was controlled by the king. And the whole idea was created so that eventually they were going to create a system that would lift the people off the land. It would lift all the people off the land. And then the law system that was put in place, which we now have, all of the court system, the legal system that the countries have, it is a system that that by default assumes that every person is underwater. This here is the Serf, or is let's say this is the level of the sea, and it's actually the Sea of Commerce. So it's the level of the Sea of Commerce, and we all use the monetary system, which is commerce, the Sea of Commerce, and it's a debt-based system, and we are on the hook for that debt. And thus, we are under the surface. We are actually considered dead in the water. How do you like that? How do you like that? That's the system we have. And if a person considers themselves that they are a citizen, say, of America or whatever country, and you have the idea that that stands for something, guess what? The countries they're bankrupt. It's a bankrupt corporation. So by saying you're a citizen of a country, actually doesn't mean anything. Doesn't actually mean anything. Now, but I'm going to give you a little bit of information. If this is kind of startling to you, and maybe you think that's not even true, it's absolutely true. I mean, like I said before, the whole thing is smoke and mirrors, but that is what we live in. That is what we live in. And trust me, that system, that smoke and mirror system, can easily put you behind bars for life. If you don't educate yourself and you try to cheat the system somehow, that it's never going to work. But if you educate yourself and you learn exactly how the system works, there is a way to free yourself completely, and you would be left alone. You would be left alone, and you are free from all of that. And you can find that information, or information to get that information is available on CryptoTBC. There's a link called True Freedom, and on that page you would find that information in order to free yourself actually completely from the debt-based system. Not only that, but also from all the legal system entirely. All right. So I wanted to let you know that. And also, while we're on here, Pedro, I see you are still on. That's great. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I want to let you guys know, Pedro is he's a trusted seller, as am I, a trusted seller of TBC. So if Pedro, I don't know what website you have. Uh, I could mention that here. Actually, I think I do know. I think it's pedropeters.com. If that's correct, Pedro, would you type in? Would you type in there? Since I can't seem to share the screen with you yet, but eventually I will. But I don't know how to do it right now. So pedropeters.com. That's where you would be able to find him. And for me, it's CryptoTBC.com is where you can go to buy TBC coins, or you can you know, there's very much education that you can find on CryptoTBC. And I guess with that, I'm going to sign off. It's not up now, John. Oh, okay. I guess we'll in a future video. I'll let you know. I'll let you know when Pedro has his site up as well, because okay. So, but I am willing to partner with you if you are a person who has referred people who want to buy TBC. I'm willing to partner with you, and also if you want to purchase more TBC, or you don't have any, definitely you can get the wallet at CryptoTBC. You can get the wallet, and you can also purchase more coin there if you want. So thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the best in the future. It is serious business. We need to act now and create the economies, the local economies that we can be proud of, that we certainly can become proud of. All right. Thank you so much. And I'm signing off.